We're going to finish up the basement. This is the PDF of the basement. Note it has a lot of text out here with leaders on it. It does have some outside dimensions. We're going to have a few more outside dimensions, not too many more. We need to locate some windows because I had you put more than one window on there. Note this window is located at the center. The standard is, according to most textbooks on basements, to locate to the edge of the windows. So we already have all the plumbing stuff in here, but we need some of this text placed in here. And there's a particular way that these should be formatted, again, going by ANSI standards, and so we'll talk about that in a minute here when we get into Revit. So I will keep popping this one up and looking at some of the text here. Sometimes what I do is pull this guy, and we'll do that over to the side, and I can pull this one over to the side. Let's see, I can make this narrower. Actually, let's do this. Let's make this, because I need a bigger monitor. We'll do it this way. I'll just flip back and forth. So if I'm going to put text on here, it's under Annotate, Text. And then I'm going to go in, Escape, Annotate, Text. And over here when I get to text, I've got some options on text with leaders. This is just plain text, one segment leader. I'm going to do a 2-segment leader, but then I'm going to use these guys. See if my text is placed over to the right side and the leaders on the left, then the arrow should be at the top, on the top line of text. If my text is placed so that the leaders to the left side, it should be justified different, and the leader should be to the bottom side of the text. So we'll watch that as we put some in, and I'll switch a few back and forth. But there is a piece of text that points at one of these footings, and you can decide, I'm going to place it over here for now. I'm going to come out like this, and then you have to make a short shoulder there, but I really like, there's not much of a control for this, but this little shoulder here should be close to the same length on all of your leaders. So watch that. And the arrow should not be at 0 degrees or 90 degrees. It should be at an angle. It's supposed to be at either, when you did it on the board, 15, 30, 45, 60, or 75 degrees. So it shouldn't be straight up at 90 degrees, and it shouldn't be flat on any of the things that you do. So this, if I go back over here, what I should do is, actually I'm going to make this easier. I'm going to hold up, I'm going to look at my sheet for my basement. I'm going to look at that. That was actually the first floor. And it says that this is a, with capital letters, so cap locks on. It's a CONC dot cap locks on. Concrete pad FTG. Yes. Push enter, turn the cap locks off, and it's 30 by 30 by 8. 30 inches by 30 inches by 8 inches. And it says W/, so width, number 4, and again cap locks on, steel, so now this text can be moved around so that I can make it so it's not crowded. Then I can grab the leader and pull it in and get it wherever I want. But the leader is, since the text is here, the text is left justified, the leader goes from the center of the top line. That's a standard. I'm going to do one from the right side. Let's see which one would work. They have a bunch of foundation wall pieces of text here. So I'm going to do one of those, and I'm going to go with this guy, the leader at the bottom right. Although it's only going to be one line of text, let's see what happens. Whoops, it's going to point like this, go over, and it's going to say foundation wall. When I pick outside of it, don't push enter. And there's my foundation wall. That's pointing at this. There's also one, and so you can take that and you could copy it from here to over to here. And if we turn, when we do the copy, there is a button up here that says multiple, so I could copy it multiple times. Let's see, I have to copy that from, I have to have a pickup point and a set down point. So I could put one over there. And they have one, no, they don't have one up there, but I can kind of cheat a little bit if I want on this. I can put those out there and copy them and change the text if I need to. If I don't want to draw a bunch, I can just copy them, then go in and edit text. So there's foundation wall, foundation wall, foundation wall. I'm just going to put a piece of text in here. That's going to be plain text, and it's going to say stoop. And they have it underlined. You can underline it if you want, but I don't care if it's underlined. I have to make sure I spell this right. So there's the stoop, unexcavated. And again, we have several pieces of text out here, so we could copy, and we could turn the multiple on and copy from here. I know there's something up here that says the garage is unexcavated. There's a one over here that talks about the basement floor. So if I double click on that, this says, is supposed to say basement and 4-inch concrete. Oh. The minimum code requirement for the basement floor is 3.5 inches, but we usually make it 4. And this says garage. Unexcavated. So you can go around and place all the pieces of text, all the leaders. We have one that's up here in the corner that says continuous footings. That could actually point anywhere. It could be up here, it could be down in this corner. I don't care if it points to 2 places, I just make it point to one. So you could actually take this if you wanted to, and you could copy it from here up to here. You can grab this arrow, point it up there at the footings, and then just go in and edit it. So it says continuous footings, and that they're 16 inches by 8 inches width, 2, number 4, continuous, and 2, number 4 still continuous, and and I'm trying to read that number 4. At 48 inches O.C. So we have continuous concrete footings, 16 by 8 with number 2, with 2 number 4 steel running, through the cement, and then vertically we have steel. And actually this has a inner in it, running vertically through the walls. I'm going to go over here for a second and zoom in on that and see what that other piece of text is. Oh, it's an %, continuous and number 4. So I couldn't figure out what that guy was. So I'm going to go back there and put it in. And is that right? Yeah, yep. And number 4 steel traverse at 48. So you can move those arrows around, just make it look pretty. So we need to get all of the text on the inside. I'm not going to put any more text in, but you go ahead and put the other pieces of text in. And we need to dimension the outside. So dimensions on the outside are supposed to be 3 feet away from the wall, the first row. There's no real way of getting that. I sometimes draw a line out there 3 feet. What I'm going to do is eyeball it, and then it'll set up some of the other things afterwards. Depending upon how you place this, your dimensions may look a little bit different. So what I usually do is, there's usually 3 chains of dimensions. On the foundation plan, we can get by, I believe, with 2. I always, well, I think we will have 3 on the one side. I always go with the second row first, and here's why. So I can come in here and I do this, and then here's the outside of the house, and here's the outside of the garage, and I'm going to pull that up there, and I'll adjust the spacing on this, but there's my 50 feet by 24 feet. And then I come in here and say, all right, here's the window, the window, the window. There's no wall to worry about right now. If the first floor, we have to do this a little bit differently. It's going to go to here, and it has to be about 3 feet away. So if I think that's about 3 feet, and I could check with distance, I believe, and go from here to here, I'm 3 feet 3 inches. So I mean, I can slide it a little. It doesn't have to be exact, but now this one, if I bring it down and set it on there and pull it out, it locks. It almost sticks where it's supposed to be. So I have that row of dimensions there, and then I'm going to do a linear that goes from here to here, place it out here, and I can stick it on there, and it'll come out and lock. If I pause over this one, it should come out, and you can almost feel it stick right there. So these spacings between rows should be equal all the way around your house. So this is going to be an easy wall to dimension over here, because it's just going to have 2 dimensions on it. So annotate linear from here to here, and I'm going to go grab this. What I want to do is kind of visually get it about the same distance away. If I want to check up here on this top bar, there's a distance command. I can get the distance from here to here. I'm 3'7", so I'll pull this back a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. In AutoCAD Architectural Desktop, I could set this and get it perfect. Here I'm just kind of eyeballing it. Linear dimension. Go from here. This is my second row that I'm doing that shows location of all my steps. what I'm looking for is the 3 foot from the front stoop. So I'll check the distance again, see how close I am. Oh, 4'9". So I can pull that back a little bit. Then I'm going to go into this bay, I'm going to call it of dimensions, and take care of these windows. Whoops, annotate linear, and I'm going to go from here to here to here. Actually, I kind of messed up because now I don't want to go to this wall here. I want to come to this corner. Because this guy is really the one that's supposed to be here. That's supposed to be the one that's 3 foot away. So I messed up by checking the dimension on the other one. This is the guy that's supposed to be approximately 3 feet. There I'm 4'2". So I can move it in a little bit. And I can take this one and set it on there. Come on. It's sticking at the wrong spot. Oh, we'll see. Should be 1 foot in between those. It's not seeming to 1'5". That one's not locking. Sometimes it just works that way. I don't need anything in here. I don't need anything in here. Over here, I need to locate my garage door openings. So I'm going to go, and again, not from this corner, but from this corner. If I go from this corner, here's the little thing that happens, and it's, I tell my students in class, this is one of the things I always watch for. So, you know, when this comes out, it should lock. It's lining up to the other row. That's why it kind of sticks there. Here's what I look for. You're not supposed to have a line touch a line. There's supposed to be a gap here. Note, you know, the gap from here to here. So if I go and touch this dimension, I can see that it's setting way in there, and it should be. I have to pull it out somewhere in there. There's supposed to be a break. Dimension lines are supposed to have a break like this. And it's because if I'd touched this inside corner, that line would run in there. So, you know, touch the outside corners. Don't go to inside corners. That's usually not the correct way to do it. So now I've got the 24 feet. And I might take this row and pull it out just a hair. So that's, now if dimensions get too tight, now this isn't really too tight, but you can grab the text, you can pull it like that. I am using the 3/32 Arial text. I don't know, I think the default might be quarter. I don't have one on here that says quarter, so just watch the text size. I'm using linear dimension style 3/32 Arial. If I don't like that, I can undo it. Back. So we have one more side to do. This is an easy side, linear. We're going to go from here to here, and I'm going to come in and grab this corner right here, and then slide the dimension out here. Distance from here to here is 4'2", so that can come in quite a bit. I've got the overall of 30 here, 24 here. I'm fine. My overall length up here is 74. The outside of this guy is good. Again, I'm going to the edges of the windows. That's actually the unit, not the rough opening. So 5'4". I could go up to this guy and change. Oops. I pick the window. Let's see what we can get here. Move that out of the way for a minute. .5 1/4. I could change that to 3'4", and that changes that to 3'4". That's a 16-inch increment. So if you get hung up on that kind of stuff, sometimes I do. This could be. This should really be. I'd rather have that be 12 feet. And again, that one's in the way. You have to move it out of the way. Get this to the outside edge. Make it 12. Then pull that back in. So those are some of the things I kind of get picky on, is making sure that those numbers are an increment, either they're a 2-foot or a 16-inch increment, so that if we're using concrete block, and that actually probably isn't quite right, because you'd be bucking that in with a 2x4. But you can. I don't like the fractions of an inch, so 5'4" wouldn't be good. Still have to cut the block. So I'd probably add 1.5 inches to it. All right. This guy is pretty well finished. If I go to my basement plan down here, my sheet set that's basement, see, that's updated. The windows that I put in on the first floor have shown up. All the information's there. There's nothing blank. What I'm going to do is put another piece of text out here. You can start typing something if you want. But when I go in there, I have a Word file open. I sent this to you. It has the general notes in it. You could type those all out. Now, I did change one thing on number 8. It says, when using windows to meet sleeping area egress requirements. Yours doesn't read quite like that, so you can edit it to this format. Control-C copies it, go back to Revit, highlight that text. Control-V, and it looks pretty good, but I have to go in and delete space, delete space, delete space, delete. Now, some of these are rather long, so you have to go in and if you like that length, that's a little. Here's unless otherwise noted. 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. And then if I go down here, push enter, 1, 2, 3, 4. Push enter, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go up here, down here, 1, 2, 3. Actually, that one would have 5. And so there are my general notes. So this guy, once it has the rest of the text in there, is pretty well ready to go. You can come over here to the title block, and under project name, you can go in and put Oak Park. Under owner, why don't you put your name, and down here under date, I mean, you can come up here and fill in stuff also, but author, drawn by. You can do it here also. Issue date, this is 6/11/2014. That's sheet 105. So then you'd save it. So, dimensioned.